Hi everyone, welcome to Homespun, where creativity and community come together. I am your host, Misty Doan, and I am so excited to be joined by my beautiful sister-in-law, Natalie. And you are going to love learning more about her and her creative hobbies and how she comes up with all the amazing ideas that she teaches every Friday here at Missouri Star. Natalie, thank you so much for coming and chatting with me.
It's fun to be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad. You know, everybody wanted to hear from you, of course. And so I think I didn't think of it sooner because we get to spend so much time together.
Yeah,
So
we know lots about each other.
We certainly do.
We have a lot of fun together too.
We do. I love it. So I would love if you would share like some of your first sewing memories.
Okay. Well, it's a long ways back because, you know, my mom's been sewing my whole life for sure. I just remember, first of all, I remember watching her make costumes. That's probably my earliest memory. And I think it was, I was under 10 and she was sewing for the San Francisco Ballet.
Oh, awesome.
She was making tutus and there was just tulle everywhere. The other thing that, the thing that I remember about that was so cool is that, you know, us little girls were there looking at all these ballerina costumes, and Mom, she took the time, kind of went a little bit overboard, but made us like full-fledged ballerina costumes. So we had these like satin corset things and like these big fluffy tutus that we just played in. It was just like for her dress-up box.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that's probably the time I very first remember like consciously knowing that my mom had talent for sewing. You know, she was really good at it.
Well, and to create such magic too for you guys to enjoy.
It was so fun.
Yeah, I love that. So were you interested in sewing from an early age, or when did that kind of
spark?
I
think I was always interested just because I wanted to do everything that my mom did. I don't know. I've always thought she was really special.
She is.
And yeah, I mean, you know, she's my mom, so like little girls want to be like that. But
yeah.
But yeah, as I got older, so I remember starting to make my own things. I don't know, probably more around 12-ish.
Okay.
So I may have played around before that. I probably took stitches and did, you know, fun things, but there's a couple of things. So I remember buying my first sewing machine, which was $5 at a garage sale.
Perfect.
And I still have it. It was in one of those tables. It was one of the neighbors down the street. You know, I don't remember all the details, but I was very excited about that. And I know that I was in about, I want to say 5th to 6th grade.
Okay.
Because I had a teacher that I went to her house and she taught me how to use the machine.
Okay.
So that was kind of, because it was an older one. Mom wasn't familiar with it at all. And I think Mom probably was doing a twofold thing. She's always been very, very good at delegating.
Yes.
So she was like, okay, Natalie wants to think or work on this, and, you know, this other person has also invited her over to play with their kids, so we'll do a quick little trade. She'll teach her to sew. Natalie will watch the kids. It's good. We're all
best of both worlds.
Exactly, exactly. So I went over there and did that. And then the other thing I remember is we did make those big bunnies that Mom, she tells that story, the long lop-eared bunnies. And
that all of us had
in the 80s. Pinafore with the embroidered faces. And so that was fun. But then I remember starting to make my own clothes.
Okay.
And so that's probably where I really got, you know, interested, because I could make things that fit me and I could change the length of the sleeves or the length of the skirt or customize it so that it wasn't too big or too small. Yeah. And that was really exciting to me.
Yeah, I loved that also because it kind of opens up the world of possibilities. And,
right.
And all of a sudden you realize that you can do those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of magical.
It is, yeah.
I love that. Well, the other thing that I love about you, Nat, is I feel like you have so many creative talents. So do you mind sharing some of the other things that you enjoy?
Well, I think I have that gene that says just whatever it is, you got to try it. You can do it. It's probably not that hard.
Yes.
So I've done a lot of things. I've, you know, crocheted, knitting. I love painting and drawing, sketching. And within that, I love painting with acrylics and watercolor and oils. I took my first oil painting class when I was like 14 at the local college, and it was just a little junior college in California. And so that was super fun. Yeah. But probably around that same time, within that same time frame, I went and stayed at my grandpa's house for about I think probably about 6 weeks.
Okay.
And we did stained glass together. So he had done stained glass for years, and we built a terrarium together. So I have this, it's kind of like a little glass house. And you're supposed to plant plants in it, but I keep dry things in there because I never caulked the bottom of it. And I didn't want to fill it with dirt. I don't know.
That makes sense. You want to keep it pretty.
Yeah. So that was one of my best memories of being with my grandparents. But
I love that.
And so I've kept doing stained glass. I have my own studio now where I do glass things, and I think about him often.
That's so sweet. And she surprises us with little stained glass trinkets that are just so beautiful. And I'm like, I will never get tired of these. They're so special.
Well, I'm glad you like them.
For Christmas, she made us these beautiful stained glass flowers. I'll have to get a picture. They sit on a... I have some on your shelf. On your shelf on the set. Yeah, they're so fun. So very talented.
I'm thinking about having a little party and getting the girls together to just do some fun stuff.
That would be super fun anytime. So how do you keep inspiration coming, I guess? Obviously, you have a bunch of different creative hobbies that you enjoy, but I know, like me, sometimes we get in a creative rut. And so what do you do to kind of find yourself out of that again?
That's kind of tough because I don't necessarily know that I ever get into or out of something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know that I think of it that way.
Okay.
So I feel like I have a ton of creative inspiration, but maybe it's just that I have a ton of lists of things I want to get done or do. And so I feel like if I'm not feeling like painting today, I can always go and work in the glass or work in the garden or go for a run or a hike. Like there's so many different things that I want to do that I don't usually feel like I lose creativity altogether. I just I lose like motivation in one area.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And so really I have to work out what has to be done right away and then what I can do after that, So if often I will give myself sort of like a fake reward system where I say, if I get this done, then I can do that.
I like that.
And so I time block it and I try really hard to get my stuff done first thing in the morning because that's when I have the most energy to do something that I don't want to do.
Especially the hard things.
Exactly. Yeah. And then in the afternoon, it's like, okay, anything else I get done today is great. And if not, I'm going to do these things that are easy, like watching a movie while I fold laundry or bind a quilt. Those are easy things for me. So those are the things I save for low energy parts of my day, which for me is like the afternoon and evening.
Yes.
So that's part of it. The other thing I think is just knowing that I have so many different creative hobbies.
Yeah.
Really. And I could pick a new one up any minute now.
It's true. It's dangerous.
Yes, totally. But like those things keeps me motivated to just, to try new things, but also to like apply the concepts to the other things that I do. And so I never really feel like I'm uninspired, just kind of out of time or maybe not quite organizing my priorities in a way that is super beneficial to me where I'm at. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. I understand that so much. I mean, often I don't know how we do as much as we do. We have an amazing team around us.
So much help.
Yes, so much
help.
Incredible help. And that's the truth is like, it wouldn't be possible without all of the people that help make this thing go. But I have to be really careful myself of like prioritizing my day and managing my own expectations of what I can get done in a certain amount of time. Because that's what I often find I'm bad at is I like think I can cross 10 things off my list and I can really only get 4.
Yes.
And then I feel buried.
Me too.
Yeah. And so
one of the things that I do is I kind of create like a reverse list of like, okay, if I didn't accomplish the things I really thought were super important, what did I accomplish today? And so then I kind of go back and I try to like review what I spent my time on and what got done and feel good about the things that I did accomplish, even if they weren't necessarily on my list at first. Maybe I didn't know that they were that important.
Right.
Or maybe I spent my time on the wrong thing.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
It happens.
Yeah. So I kind of try to review, but I like to try. I'm not great at it, and I'm certainly no professional, but I like to try and be happy with myself for the effort that I make, right?
Yeah, I think that's the healthiest way to approach it, right? We're just doing the best we can every day. And I think it's a good reminder, too, that we all need to be a little gentler with ourselves in that whole process.
Yes,
because
it's so hard.
we can plan as much as we want, and still, like, curveballs are going to sneak up in our day, and
Yes.
we have to be able to also roll with those punches, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it's easier said than done, but
For sure.
Well, so did you ever envision yourself having a creative career? Did you think that would happen?
So, no, I always thought that I was more left-brained, more like serious and studious. And, you know, I thought that I would be doing something research or science oriented,
Yeah.
you know. But I always loved this stuff. I just thought of it more as like, this is what you get to do in your spare time.
Yeah.
This is your hobbies and free time and creativity, but that I would be working, you know, like my work would actually be much more serious and, you know, I don't know, just more like a researcher job, I guess.
So when did it occur to you that you were like really great at this and it could be a thing for you?
I don't think that's ever occurred to me that I was really great at this.
You're great at it.
I feel like I am, I'm capable and I'm willing to try. And I think in these kinds of careers, like if you're not afraid to fail, then you're never going to try. And
It's
a lot of it
true.
is just quantity over quality.
Yeah.
We
That's
say
so
that all the time, like not every quilt's going to be a winner. We
It's
put
so
one
true.
out every week.
That's true.
So
We have to kind of remind each other of
yeah,
that.
I can't put so much pressure on myself and worry about perfection because I've just got a job to do.
Yes.
And so here's the next thing.
Yeah. Well, and
Right?
for me, I've gotten a lot easier on myself with time, with the amount of time that I've put in over these years now, that sometimes I know I'm going to love and feel really proud of what I make. And sometimes I'm not. But the thing that I also love about what we do is then you put it up on YouTube, these other people share, and other people love it, even
Yes.
if you don't. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, it's all right.
Well, what I love about that is that people will say, well, this thing that I saw you do made me think of doing
Yes.
this thing.
Exactly.
And I'm like, okay, so if I can inspire creativity,
That's
that's
enough.
it. That's it for me.
Yeah.
I would much rather have people say, I thought about trying this thing or I thought about doing that because of something that you suggested, than have, you know, everybody just make exact replicas
agree.
of the things. Because I think that's great and it's awesome for practice, but
Yes.
it's like just doing the same math worksheet over and over. Like, let's do something different.
It's so true. I love that concept. Like if we can just inspire people to be creative, because that's really what it's all about. And I say
Yes.
that often. It should be fun, right? You should
Yeah.
be playing and getting to be creative and enjoying the process. And if we take ourselves too seriously, you lose that joy in the creative journey. So
Right. That's sad.
it is sad. That's not what we want.
No.
So is there any words, I guess, of advice that you would share with maybe a new quilter to just keep them going?
So honestly, I think the thing that I think is the most important is to know that everybody struggles with the same things you're struggling with.
Yeah.
We all have, you know, days where our stitches skip or our fabric slides or whatever. We sew the block together wrong sides out instead of right sides
Yep.
in, you know, you just, or whatever. I just said the same thing twice. You know what I mean,
know what
though,
you
where
mean,
we
yeah.
have, I pick stitches almost every single quilt I
That's
make.
what I was going to say. I can't think of
There's
one
not-
where I haven't had to use the seam ripper
There
at least once.
isn't.
Yeah.
There's not a quilt I've made that I haven't made a mistake on.
Yeah.
Whether I put the fabric upside down or the block upside down, it's gonna happen. Sometimes my points don't match. Sometimes my fabric puckers. Sometimes my quilts, the borders are wavy, and I've done hundreds of borders.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's things that I would suggest. Have good tools, right? Your tools are important. It's totally okay to start with, you know, just what you have.
Right.
Because a sewing machine that sews stitches a straight line
Yes.
will get you a quilt, right?
Yes.
But if you have a dull or chipped blade in your rotary cutter, cutting is going to be frustrating.
Yes.
If you have, you know, a sewing machine where the thread that comes out of the needle all the time, it's going to be frustrating.
Yeah.
And so you can make your life easier with better quality supplies and practice and patience.
Yeah.
But honestly, like we all have the same things happen to us.
We do. It's so true.
And you just have to be brave and keep trying and try again. And sometimes the other thing that I think is so cool is like, so there's a quote, and I can't recall at the moment who said it, but we can get that. And
Yeah.
anyways, he says, he says that in order to be really good at something, you have to be willing to be brave enough to be really bad at it at first. And you just have to keep doing it.
It's so true. And I think that applies to everything in life, right? Like
it does.
We're not going to get good at a thing unless we're willing to just try and
nobody,
mess it up along the way.
Nobody that is considered an expert started out as an expert.
Exactly.
You just have to keep doing it.
I love that.
And if you love it, don't give up.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things too that have developed from people who were willing to do it even though they didn't fully understand it, and they are the ones that develop new techniques.
Yep.
They're the ones that say, hey, did you know that if you do this and this, you can get that? And you're like, what? I've been following the rules this whole time. So you need to know. That's the other one that I love, is know the rules so that you can, or know the rules like a professional so you can break them like an artist.
Yes.
That's the other quote that I love. And hopefully we'll find sources for those, because I'd like to give them proper credit, but they live in my mind all the time.
I love that. I love that so much. Well, is there any other maybe creative hobby that you haven't tried yet that's still on your list?
Something that I really want to try. Let's see. Well, I have things that I've started trying that I want to put more effort into.
Perfect.
Like woodworking, for one thing. I've done some carving, and I want to get better at that and practice that more, but time.
Yes.
And supplies. And then I love messing around with clay. I'd really like to make some like really cute pin toppers, like straight pins where you make the clay thing and put it on top of the pin.
That would be so fun.
So yeah, I love that. That's been really exciting to me lately. Gosh, I don't know.
That's okay. That's perfect.
I always love making books. That's another thing I want to get back into.
We got to do that together, and that was so fun. I just found all my supplies from that creative retreat.
So did I. I was going through my stuff. I think everybody's in this like sort your things mode, because I mean
Spring's
it's the beginning
coming.
of the year, and spring cleaning, whatever it is, whatever mood we're in, or whatever might be in retrograde.
Yes.
We're all going through our stuff right now.
It's true.
So I found my stuff too, and I'm like, I got to do that again.
Yeah, that was really fun. We've done that often. We try to fulfill our creative buckets by trying a new thing, and I want to do it like a pottery class next, where we actually throw the pots. I used to do that when I was young.
Yes.
And loved it. I was never good at it.
I did one. So I took a pottery class, and I made a bowl.
Yeah.
By the time it fired, it was this tall, and my mom puts her paper plates on it, I think, to this day. But it was supposed to be a whole bowl, and now it's just this like flat thing with like inch sides. Yeah, I don't know how it turned out that way.
That's awesome. Well, we should add that to our list.
we need to go do some pottery. The other thing I want to do is I want to make myself some clothes again. I haven't done that for a long time.
I just bought a new dress pattern because I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, and I'm sitting there. I've got to find the fabric, and we'll do it together. We need a sewing night.
We totally do. We should do that.
I love that. Well, thank you, Natalie, for taking this time to talk to me, and
you're welcome.
Letting everybody get to know you a little bit better. And I will see you again soon.
All right.
Of course, tell everybody where they can follow along with what you're up to.
Well, I'm on Instagram and YouTube at Missouri Star Quilt Company.
That's right. So she'll have a fun new tutorial for you every Friday.
Yeah.
So we'll see you soon.
It'll be cool. Bye.